with something, because I don't want to sit up here and just keep rambling on and on and on. I want to leave you something here. This is a little something that I actually wrote this. It's some stuff that I've just been kind of thoughts and all I've been compiling for a while. And it was directed towards the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, but it can also be directed to my community that I love. And, you know, I've been blessed to be born and raised right here in Union and Coweta County, and we're not going anywhere. I've had so many people ask me, and Bev both said, why do y'all want to go to Washington? We're not going to Washington. We're going to stay right here in Coweta County. And I wouldn't have it no other way. I'm not going anywhere. But we've been blessed here. But this is just something that I wrote to them. And if y'all bear with me just a minute, in fact, I had to tell the guys when I sent this out on an email one night, y'all bear with me because it could be a little long, but law enforcement is a thinking person's game. We're often called upon to wear many hats. When done right, it requires a person to be an expert tactician, a relationship counselor, a legal scholar, and a discerning interpreter of the human mind. Still, you have to have vision and be one to seek out new trends, ideas, and technology. And you've heard that coming from me. In the words of Mark Fender, I don't know beans about technology, but I've always tried. But I have reached out and I said, you have to be prepared to embrace the technology that is being developed and implemented each and every day. I have always said that technology is great, it's very much needed in this profession. But all the technology in the world is great. But all the technology in the world will never take the place of good shoe leather investigation. You've still got to get out here and pound the pavement. You still got to get out here and talk to people face to face. You can't talk to them over text and Twitter and everything. You've got to see them face to face. I took those words from a good friend of ours, Buddy Nix, because he came down when we finished up a 12-year-long investigation, and he made those comments, and it has stayed with me ever since. Nothing beats good shoe leather investigation. So you young and old, remember that. You still got to make that contact with the public. Hopefully, some things will never change. But regardless of whether you're a second or you're a third generation law enforcement officer, or if you're the first person in your family to ever wear a badge, all law enforcement officers carry with them the legacy of those who came before them. It is from that legacy which emerges out of both the ordinary and the heroic acts, the triumphs and the mistakes, that we each continue to shape the history of law enforcement in our communities, in our state, and across our country. Several themes emerge as I look back on my own small piece of that history. They are the things that I wish I understood better when I was younger. But they are also the things that I hope those who come after me can find of some service as they continue the work that I'll leave behind. I did not always plan to be in law enforcement, let alone be the sheriff of the county. I wanted to be a high school teacher and a football coach. That was my goal. But once it became obvious to me that teaching and coaching was not in my future, I had to make some decisions. After entering law enforcement, each step of my career, I did it with the intention to grow and learn as much as I could. I still do that today, and I still encourage the men and women of the Sheriff's Office that you can learn something new every day. You can do it whether you're talking to someone, you're talking to a fellow officer. You can, believe it or not, sometimes you can even see it on the news. No offense, Doug, I appreciate you, buddy. But you know, you can learn something new every day. You got to keep your mind open to that. And I do believe that that last day I shut that door on Grease and Trail, I can ride home that evening and say I learned something today. And that's what I encourage each and every one of you. Look for it, it's out there. Keep learning. Acting with such intentions has helped me navigate the good times as well as the bad times that has faced our agency and law enforcement community as a whole. Law enforcement officers are presently called upon to take on more of society's problems than ever before. Officers are asked to address the issues skillfully and with precision. These matters are complex and are not something that we can merely arrest our way out of. Maybe we could have done that 40 years ago. You can't do it today. It makes for a more challenging time to be a law enforcement officer. but I firmly believe that we, as a law enforcement community, can meet those needs if we choose to. As I look at agencies across our region here in the state, their collection of new and tenured officers have a greater combination of education, life experiences, diversity of opinion, and understanding of the nuanced ways to approach complex problems than ever before. As law enforcement professionals, we cannot shy away from the task we have been presented. We have to choose to show up each and every day and be fully engaged. We have to choose to move beyond the rhetoric that can surround our profession. We have to choose to stand with our brothers and sisters and use every call for service, every traffic stop, every community contact as an opportunity to shape our own narrative of how law enforcement is seen. By moving with intention and making every aspect of our career a choice, we are able to be more effective, add justice to an otherwise chaotic world. You'll never know what to improve on unless you first know how it works to begin with. Emphasizing the rights of the individual can seem to be in direct opposition to how the professional law enforcement is broadly understood. You see, law enforcement officers are seen as agents of the state or the county or the municipality, wherever you're working in. Many agencies across the country have found is that only focusing on the rights of the state inhibits our ability to effectively serve our citizens who have placed their trust in us. By making the protection of rights of the individual as a part of our focus, whether it's the right to assemble, the right to free speech, or the right to be free from unlawful searches or seizures, we are able to bring the way the public perceives our actions into alignment with the intentions behind them. Some people say, hell, I can't believe you said that. Because we used to just knock them in the head and take them to jail. But times have changed. Throughout our careers, we'll go through countless hours of training. Each course will be designed to enhance our knowledge of how to safely and effectively perform our duties. Many will think that it is a combination of those classes and on-the-job experiences that will define who we are as an officer. But I'll argue that what defines us was established long before we ever pinned on that badge, we ever put on that uniform, we ever drove that marked police car, or we entered a training academy. Every aspect of your career is determined by your character. Character that was created over lifetime experiences before law enforcement with people who know you the best, your family and friends, who know your stories, both good and bad. And knowing those things, they will be the ones that will know best how to help you navigate the adverse conditions that this profession can bring upon you. Many aspects of law enforcement has changed so dramatically over the years. No officer who serves a full career will make it to retirement without experiencing periods of acute stress. Those of us who are lucky will only have a single stressor at any given time. For the rest of us, multiple stressors will often find their way into our lives at the same time. During those periods, it can be easy to lose oneself to subtle repercussions, become jaded, that grow into larger issues that manifest into problems away from work. I think the people who knew you before you joined law enforcement are uniquely suited to guide you through the difficult periods in your life, if you just allow them. Though they may not understand the details of your job, they understand you and your true character. They have the ability to push that character to the forefront when the rigors of your chosen career threaten to take you off course. By the time you become, and this is a true statement, I'm learning this now. By the time you become wise enough to do this job, time has passed and you're too old to do it. With that in mind, it is my hope that at least some of this will resonate with some of you who will continue on this journey that I embarked upon almost 39 years ago. When I think about Coweta County and the Coweta County Sheriff's Office, the changes we have seen and we've undergone during my tenure, I'm confident in who we are, and I'm secure in the belief that we'll be even better tomorrow. The foundation has been laid. The same is true when I think about law enforcement that exists across our state, across our country. We have to work at it, y'all. We have to work at it. It's been an honor and it's been a privilege to be a part of this law enforcement family. The badge and the people who wear it will forever be in my heart. To each of you, it is my sincere hope that you will always lead with your heart and be defined by your character. And I tell my staff this, and I still hold true to it. And it says a person is not loved by how tall they stand, but for how often they bend to help, comfort, and teach others. Stay safe, every one of you. Love you.